evening if you're in the UK. Good. What is it? Is it morning? Is it 2 o'clock?
Still morning.
Oh, still morning if you're in the US. Wherever you are, hello. It's great to be here. My name's Sam Kane. I work for TAD. I am apparently head of UK operations, believe it or not. And today I'm going to be introducing to you an amazing family who have been doing this incredible TAD talk for now. We're on episode 13, I believe. Is that right, Terry?
13.
So
lucky 13.
13. Allow me to introduce
What could possibly go wrong?
They are the genesis of TAD. We have the amazing Mrs. Anne Riley Davis. Hello, Anne.
Morning, everyone. Hi, Sam.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, as another day gone. We have the gorgeous Nick Davies and Julia Tramer. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
And the man who thinks he's the boss man, obviously the boss man was introduced first. That's the gorgeous Mr. Terry Davis, the CEO and our Lord and Master, Mr. Terence Davis. Good morning, Terence.
I went to Cabo for this, so
that's a great background.
Beach.
So well.
Good to be here on the other side of the fence.
It's great to be here too. Listen, this is I'm going to be holding the tiller on this one because I don't know why, but they've given me the inimitable duty of interviewing these gorgeous people because we do know quite a lot about them, and it's great to have you company. Thank you for joining. It's going to be all about the Davies family today and all about the future Davies family today. But before we go any further, Ross, would you please play the clip of Piano Man Generations of Nick and Terry playing their amazing concerts? The amazing Piano Man Generations there at Wild Horse Pass in Phoenix, starring Terence and Nicholas Davis. What a concert that is. I've only seen bits of it. Terry sent me some audio of it recently, and it just sounds incredible. Really looking forward to getting to see the whole thing. Terry, first of all, mate, what is it like performing on stage with your gorgeous boy?
Oh, it's everything. It's... I don't know how I could wax lyrical for the whole hour here, but I say on stage, but I really mean this. You have your children and they become teenagers and it's not cool anymore. And at some point in their life, they find the girl of their dreams and that's it. And you maybe spend 2 or 3 times a year. I get to hang out with my son a couple of hours every night. And we have a great relationship, but there's nothing to touch it. And to be truthful, there's probably no words to explain what it's like. You look across the stage and go, oh, wow. I've got goosebumps now. Just
tingly moments. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Nick, same question, buddy. Obviously not with your son because you haven't got one yet. But what's it like being on stage performing with your dad? I suppose the inspiration for everything that you do. Your mum and dad. So
it's it's work. No, it's
pays the bills.
You don't get paid for, right?
Right. There really aren't enough words in the English language to express how incredible it is. Billy Joel and Elton John alone, just being in a show dedicated to them is incredible in itself. But the fact that I have my dad across from me playing that, and my mom used to be in the show as well, and the show is still amazing when it's just me and my dad, but it had that magic in it when she was in it as well. So we miss her, but It's, there's nothing to touch it really. You drive 2.5 hours to go to a gig, but you're looking forward to it every mile you drive, just because you know that you love the people you're doing it with. So
I remember the back end of doing the cruise ships for me. I was 10 years in now, kind of when you guys first started really doing the ships, I suppose. I remember Terry saying to me, "This is the most amazing time. You must love this." And I say, "Yeah, I do. I kind of miss home." And he said, "But it's magic." I said, "Yeah, but you've got your wife and your son with you. Of course it's magic, because it's all about family, isn't it?" The show's called Piano Man Generations, Terry, and I'm just going to give you a phrase here that I want you to continue, if you will. There's 2 generations on that stage, but there's a major generation in spirit on that stage with you that isn't there in person. Who is this I'm talking about?
Are you trying to get me to cry on the show?
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's me dad. Shit, I am going to cry. He's everything. He was everything to me. He's the reason why I play, And we had one night when he came on stage with us. There was the 3 of us. We played Just the Way You Are, and it was amazing. So, yeah, my dad, I miss him.
Yeah, there's a great photograph you've got at home. Describe to everyone looking what that photograph is.
Which one are you talking about? Oh, that photograph.
Yeah.
When we got married, my dad was there, and we got the 3 of us. The 3 of us were playing the piano, and the photographer took this amazing photograph of the 6 hands on the piano. And so we had it put on canvas. In fact, it's on the screen now. And we have a photograph in our house of just the 6 hands on the piano. And cherish every moment of it.
Oh, wow. Beautiful memories, mate. Stunning memories. We said the other day when you spoke to Linda and I that this was going to be a bit of a love fest, and we make no excuses. That's exactly what this is going to be. There's going to be tears and there will be laughter. There's somebody I didn't introduce at the top of the show, and as you can see, to Nick's right-hand side, for Julia Tramer. Julia, you're a part of this family now. What's it like being a part of the Davies family? I mean, coming from where you're from in Canada, did you expect this to be a part of your life? Was it something, you can never predict your future, but did you see it turning out like this?
No, I moved to Vegas and was kind of on my own doing my thing, and met Nick, and, never expected, you never do, right? You never expect that this one person that you've met one show, one night is going to be, your future husband, your future family. But I can't speak highly enough of all the Davies. They're the most welcoming, kind people that you could possibly meet on this planet. And I'm just so grateful for everything that they've done for me, both as a family member and as somebody who works for the company. There are no words.
Oh, God bless you, mate. We'll get into this quite a lot later. And again, with the Piano Man Generations, you're on stage with those guys. I believe you're just doing BVs now, right? Are you still up there?
Yep. Just started doing backing vocals this year. So.
And you as well, Anne? Are you on there? You're doing it too? Still in the show?
I came out of retirement for one show because it was on the doorstep, and I could walk there and walk back.
Well, people were thinking on the
and all our neighbours and friends were there, so I wasn't going to miss that. So I joined them on stage.
Do you miss?
I miss the performance side of it. I miss the buzz from the audience and all that kind of stuff. And then there are things that I don't miss about it. I don't miss the traveling so much anymore. I don't miss the stress of preparing for a show and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I miss the buzz.
Some people get different feelings, don't they, going on stage? I, like you, I suppose, certainly towards the back end of my performing career, I used to get really, really nervous, and I know you were the same. How did you cope with all of that?
Yeah. Not very well, as the boys. I was a bitch for about 4 days before and 4 days after. But no,
it is quite terrifying.
You just have to cope. You have to put your insecurities behind you and do the best you can. That's all you can do, is just do the best you can. But it got to a point where I didn't feel like the best I could do was the best. So so. It was time. Did you get a thing
where as soon as you set foot on stage, Dr. Footlights took over and everything was fine?
To a point, yeah. If all the stars aligned and everything was great, but then if anything went wrong, if I couldn't hear the monitors or whatever, then it completely blew my self-confidence, and the rest of the show was just like,
people in the
to
audience
expect.
would never see it, would they? They would never see any of that going on. You know,
No.
So many different sound on stage as it is off stage. So here's the
right,
thing.
yeah.
A lot of people around the world who know the Davies family may not know this, but Anne, you were born in Liverpool. Terry, you were born in Manchester. Another thing that people around the world may not know geographically, that Liverpool and Manchester are the biggest rivals in so many different ways. So the question is, how on earth does this relationship work?
Oh, it's easy. That's it.
Because I'm very patient.
No, it's easy, mate. It's an easy answer to that. They've won nothing for so many years, and even when they do, it gets taken away from them on the last minute. In fact, I'm watching the feed, and Joe Martin had a question for Anne. It says, "Anne, how is Terry going to react when Liverpool will win the league this year?"
He's probably going to cry his eyes out, and he's going to get no sympathy from me whatsoever.
No, I'm just going to wonder where they're going to put the asterisk at the end of it.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
And
so that's the ridiculous answer. What about the actual answer?
How is it?
How does it work? I mean, you two guys, tell us how you met. Tell us how it all first started.
Well, can I answer you how does it work? Because for me, there was a defining moment with how it worked with the entire Riley family. Because
It's a big family.
It is, and they're all Scousers and they're all Liverpool fans. And the hub was Mum and Dad's house in St Augustine's Way in Bootle. And Dad was there in his chair, massive Liverpool fan, and I'm a massive United fan. And I loved him to death. And we had a fantastic relationship, especially in the last 10 years or so. But there was a moment in the middle of it where, I mean, it was horrible. We would fight cat and dog, and we had this big knockdown argument, and we was in the living room, and he just said, "Right, I love you, but you're not talking about football in here ever again, so no more football talk."
That was your dad.
So what's going to happen, Anne?
Hey?
Did you know that this was going to happen, that there would be an immediate clash?
Oh, absolutely, and like I said, I had no sympathy for him at all, because he went there. He had to go there. And so every time he did, I'd just sit back and watch it unfold and laugh.
Oh, a great family. And tell us about your family, because they're a huge part of your life. I know everyone's family orientated there. Tell us about the guys back home and some of the struggles that you've had, certainly moving to the States.
Well, yeah, I mean, big families. Well, you're from a big family as well. I was the oldest of 8, so, designated babysitter and all that kind of stuff all my life. And then we all moved away, started moving to different places, and, and you lose touch and, ups and downs and all that kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, growing up, it was madness, as you know. It was fun. It was loud. It was annoying sometimes, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Just a typical all-loving working-class family, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And what about when you guys first met? Tell us a little bit about that. How did that all come about?
Oh, she had the hots for me, something bad.
Terry, you know, like I do, you are punching well above your weight. I know nobody knows that better than me.
But actually, the truth of it is I was a tour guide in Spain, working at the Bell Playa Hotel, Joe Rabido, our favourite boss of all time. And I had to go to the airport and pick people up and bring them back to the hotel, sell them tours, show them the different things along the way. And Joe Rabido came in one day and said, "You have to pick the new keyboard player up. Just go to the airport." And I said, "What's his name?" He said, "Oh, you won't be able to miss him. He's this tall, dark, handsome dude." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I wrote his name out on a piece of paper and I stood there, and every good-looking guy that walked towards me, I was thinking, "Oh, great, this is going to be a great season." And they all just kept passing by and passing by. And then this guy starts walking towards me, and at the time, he looked like a caveman. He looked like a logger. He had this big afro going on and a chipped tooth, and he was wearing this purple top with like different coloured Broadway anglais. And I'm thinking, every step he took towards me, I'm thinking, "Oh, please, no, oh no, please don't let it be."
It's the logger.
So it was. So it wasn't exactly love at first sight. And then we actually worked together for a year before we got romantically involved. And in that time, we built up this friendship where we could talk about anything. We had a lot in common. We liked the same music. We had the same interests, the same goals, all that kind of stuff. So, the rest is history, basically.
Well, what about music?
Sorry, mate. John Martin just wrote, Anne was the tour guide and Terry was the last resort.
The crazy.
I love it.
You just said he had lots of hair and a chipped tooth. Now he's got all his teeth and his hair. Oh, it's miraculous, isn't it? Throwback is incredible. So when did the romance start to blossom? How did that all kick off?
Vodka.
On whose behalf?
It probably was.
We know exactly. We actually know that. No, I think we remember the moment. You're losing your memory. We were in Tivoli World.
Oh no, it was before that. I remember it was before that.
Well, you can't tell that one. You can't tell that one.
No, yeah.
Listen, I'll go. I'll just see you later.
I was working behind the desk selling tours, and every morning he'd come down, he'd walk past the desk, he'd say good morning, bring me a coffee out, which was nice. And then one morning he walked, we'd been drinking the night before. I mean, that's all we did over there at the end of the night. So he'd been drinking the night before, he walked past the desk and he stopped and he leaned over like that and just started staring and saying nothing. And I thought, God, what a weirdo, he's still hungover. And then he said to me, one of these days, I'm going to marry you. And then he walked off. And I was thinking, oh my God, where did you get that from? He can't be any more wrong. Then he brought me a coffee back, and then the following day, then we went, where did we go?
Tivoli Gardens in Torremolinos or Fuengirola in Spain. And we're walking around and just held a hand. And we were walking. And we just walked around Tivoli Gardens holding hands. And I think Anne touched on it. We already were best mates in the biggest way, So it felt weird on one hand and felt so right on the other.
So you kept changing hands when you were holding hands?
Kept changing, yeah. Yeah, but...
Nick and Julie, I'll get to you in a second. I want to know about New Attitude. So when was the beginning of that? How did that all start? Because that people don't know. That was the name of your duo, right? Back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sung in Torremolinos and flew to LA and came here to, we had an album of originals that we wrote called Communicate, which Anne just loves, that album. And,
it's a fantastic album. It's off its time, but it is amazing. The music on this is fantastic. You guys are incredible talent. And I think it would only be right if we just showed a little clip of New Attitude.
But you're not playing it.
And it seems you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. Well, I would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid. The candle burned out long before. The legend never did. I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe.
I don't know what you mean punching above my weight. Look at the dance.
And look at your weight.
Now we can't even get out of there.
And look at my weight.
If we all look back at the costumes we wore then, not one of us are getting any of them. My goodness. Happy days though in Blackpool. So you came back from the States. Was there a specific reason why?
Oh, yeah. Anne will tell that story.
Oh, yeah. But it was probably the best time of my whole life because probably not many people know, but I couldn't have kids naturally. And we thought about adoption, tried all kinds of different things. And then my doctor in Liverpool suggested IVF. which was really expensive in the States. But he put my name forward on the waiting list. And a couple of months later, I got an appointment to go and see the embryologist about the IVF treatment, which is the in vitro fertilization, which was obviously pioneered in England. So it was the best place to have it done. But I was 33 years of age, so the chances of it happening were slightly less than if I'd have been younger. So, but we took a chance. We packed up everything over here, sold everything, moved back, started the procedure. There was a couple of little dodgy moments where it didn't look like it was going to happen. But then they collected 3 eggs. They implanted all 3. And out of them, very first time we tried, we ended up with our gorgeous son. Highlighted my life by far.
Yeah. Changed everything, right, Terry?
Absolutely.
Everything overnight.
You know, I remember being at the hospital literally on the day he was born, and he had 2 of the biggest black eyes I've ever seen. You know, typical.
I know, God love him.
And we just fell in love with him from that moment, didn't we? All of us.
You were the second person ever to see him. You know that?
Well, after the embryologist.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, I've got a confession to make. I was there at the inception. Nick, this is your life. Welcome home, son. So, Nick, you were born. Tell everyone where you were born, mate.
I was born in Fazakerley, Liverpool, England.
Fazakerley in Liverpool. And I believe it's had a massive influence on your life ever since, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was destined to be a musician because of my parents, but obviously the Beatles. You say Liverpool, you think the Beatles, and they've been a constant inspiration in my life since the day I was born.
Oh, it's massive. So you spent a few of your early years growing up in Blackpool, living in your mum and dad's house. Obviously, that's where kids live. Yeah. But and how old were you when you went over to the States, and what was that transition like for you?
I was 6 years old when we moved to the States. It was 2000, and it was weird. I mean, I knew nothing but England at that point. I don't think I really knew what was happening. I think I was too young to really know how big this move was, because I'd moved before, like from Liverpool to Blackpool. I was too young to really remember it, but I knew what moving was. So I thought, we were going an hour up the road and that was it,
But and you've got a Blackpool accent. Was that an effect? Walking into the classroom and everybody's speaking in a different way?
Yeah. That was a really weird thing. I was either the center of attention or people hated me. There was no in between. I wasn't I didn't blend in. I was definitely the outcast one way or another when I moved over. But I lost the accent within a year of moving. I don't know why. I don't remember how that happened, but I think I was just spending so much time because I started school right when I moved. So I was around all of these people, and the only people I knew who still had a British accent were my parents and my grandma.
Wow. Well, it's different, isn't it? You've got to catch on, you've got to fit in and all that business. So, you have to get up to speed pretty quickly. You talked about your inspirations, talking about the Beatles. Every time you go to Liverpool now, you're always shopping for their stuff. They're massive for you, aren't they, those guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always say, like, if you like the stuff I do musically, then thank the people who inspired my inspirations, and the Beatles inspired Billy Joel. So without them, there wouldn't be me.
Wow. I'm not sure if we've got a clip. Hopefully, Ross, in a little bit, we'll show a little bit and play a little bit of Nick's song. That'd be good as well. Nick, you've grown up in a house full of performers. By osmosis, it was always natural that you were going to become a performer yourself. And the transition that you've just grown into, and how brilliant a musician you are. Have you enjoyed being mentored and tutored by your parents?
Yeah. I mean, I took lessons with teachers along the years and stuff like that, but no, there's been no greater learning curve and inspiration in my life than both of my parents, musically and otherwise. I mean, they're just always been there for me through everything, for everything. And, I mean, they're, as you know, Sam, they're two of the most brilliant musicians that have ever been. So,
I mean, knowing you so well, Nick, it's I would describe you as an introvert extrovert. You're shy, but everything. I mean, look at your shirt, for God's sake. There's nothing shy about you externally, but inside you're a really quiet, stoic, amazing young man. But you've turned into this performer that yeah, I'll be honest with you, I never thought you would become. I knew you'd be a musician, but a frontman, wow. And you've taken that role on so brilliantly. And I think it's we're just going to show the wonderful viewers out there a clip of you doing exactly that on a cruise ship. Wow, are we out of that now? Are we out of it, Ross?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Nick, what a performer. I mean, I know that show pretty well now, working for Tad, and it's no mean feat. It kind of evolved from what was the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons show into that. Tell us about that, buddy.
Yeah, it really did start with like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. You know what I mean? Like it was all about the Frankie, and then the three of us added harmonies and talked a little bit, but that was about it. And right now, it's really turned into there's a guy who sings high, but there's also three other people on stage that have just amount of reason to be up there as the Frankie, and we all share the same amount of time that we speak and that we sing. And we had a script when we started the show, but we kind of tried to add things into the script naturally as the show has progressed. And we found the stuff that works with the audience. And when that happens, we just kept it in. And now we have this script that we've made up ourselves that kill it every time. And it's just really turned into a fun, just like a party. It's great.
I mean, anyone that doesn't know Nick, if you see him in a room or in a meeting, I mean, you're pretty quiet. You only chip in when it's absolutely necessary. But if you know you've got an incredible sense of humor. You're so sharp, you're so witty. And I guess it's kind of where your dad works and where your mum works, is where we react to stuff. And there's no better material in your show than that stuff that happens naturally from the audience. And is that how the show grew?
Yeah. And I've added a few things in there, but all the people we've had come in throughout the years have added stuff as well. Like there's one joke that a good friend of ours who's a weatherman in Phoenix, Corey McCloskey, he came on and he just made this killer joke that we do in the skit. We bring a lady on stage, we sing to her, and he said this line, and we couldn't, the rest of us on stage, we couldn't sing 2 songs after it. So I think that was really the first point that we were like, we need to pursue this and just add these things in, because that was great.
What was the line? What was it?
I think it was because the whole point of the skit is I come on and I sing to a lady, an older lady, and I'm in my 20s, and then Corey comes on who's in his 40s, and he sings to her, and he turned around and said, "Man, you're about 2 years away from a felony." And
great line.
It's fantastic. It's just so good.
And it's testament, we'll get into this a bit later, it's testament to the quality of Tad and the productions that they put together. How have you seen this, and going through the years of the evolution of Tad? We'll start at how it started a little bit later, but what's your take on this of watching the company grow and how it operates?
It's overwhelming, to be honest, because as you know, and a lot of people know, we were partners in a restaurant before this called Sky, and it closed down. Suddenly, everybody was out of work, including us. So we kind of left that with nothing, no money, no paycheck, nothing. we didn't know what we were going to do next. We were going to go back to being a duo or, work at McDonald's or whatever. But we had some connections through the restaurant. We had some agents whose acts that we used along the way while we were at Sky. And so Terry, and we had some of our own shows that we built at Sky, Abba Fab and Candyman, a couple of others. And so Terry kind of put the feelers out and asked some of the other agents if they could work some of our shows. And so it literally started that small. And then Terry started going out and making more connections to sell those shows. And then we started buying more shows. Then we got the cruise division side of it. And it keeps growing. It seems like every time Terry comes home, there's a different facet of Tad. And it's kind of like getting slapped sideways. It's like, oh, today we're doing this and tomorrow we're doing that. But it just keeps growing. And I can't believe that it's only been 7 years now. And wow. From what we started with, which was nothing, to what we've got now, it is overwhelming.
And we've all been in jobs, haven't we? We've all been in jobs where, the boss is a little bit kind of, dictatorial, or, he's waving his finger and everything's a little bit serious and stuff like that. But the moment I walked into this company, I've never been so relaxed. I remember somebody saying to me, "What's it like?" And I said, "I found home. This fits me like a glove," because for all the right reasons, I suppose. There is a nepotism there, but I'm a big believer, and I know Terry is as well, that nepotism has to work. You don't just get the job just because you're a friend or you're a relative. You've got to be able to do the gig. And Julia, you'll be aware of this as well, joining the family and joining the company, because when you joined, I suppose it was more on the business side of things, and then yours has evolved into so much more as well. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so I actually met Nick. I was doing sound for Abba Fab, and Ann and Terry were there. So that's kind of how we originally met as a sound engineer in my end. And then as Nick and I started talking, we kind of mentioned, hey, we could use some help with tech and sales and these kinds of things. So when I first joined Tad, I was doing a lot of the sales end and then teching here and there, just kind of getting to know the company and everybody involved. And then from there, I joined Abba Fab, and it's just kind of snowballed from there.
Well, as we're talking of Abba Fab, I think we should see a clip of you performing. And Anne, I do believe. See who else is on.
See that girl, watch that scene, taking the dancing queen. Mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you? The love you gave me, nothing else can save me. SOS. When I'm gone, how can I even try to? Honey, honey, don't conceal. Honey, honey, see when you do your thing, do one more. Waterloo, promise you'll love me forevermore. Waterloo, couldn't escape if I wanted to. Waterloo, knowing my fate is to be with you. Mamma mia, mamma mia.
So you're a bit of a dark horse, Julia Tramer. You do all kinds of stuff, right? So what was it like when you first set foot on stage? Had you done performing arts? Had you done any of that?
Only through, like concert bands and jazz bands, drum lines, those kinds of things.
Proper showbiz.
That's my only...
Not like this rubbish, proper showbiz.
Yeah, no, nothing like that until Abba Fab. And it was really funny, actually, because Ann and Terry kind of approached me and they're like, hey, we have Abba Fab going to California and we need a backing girl. Do you think you could do it? Do you want to give it a try? So I did. And but I had never heard a good portion of the songs, so I was kind of learning them as we're going and everything. And I got to the show, and my favorite thing ever with Scotty, actually, we're in the middle of Honey Honey, and I'm working my way through the show and trying to get the nerves out, and Scotty walks up and goes, "Solo now," and walks away. I was paralyzed because I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what end of the keyboard it's going to be on. What am I doing? Like, so that was that. And then from then on, just kept doing shows and getting used to being in front of people. Isn't
it great to go to a situation, what we call work, I suppose, there's nothing like work, is it? It's just you turn up every day. And Cindy Brock, who's an amazing part of the Tad family, she said it's exactly what it is. It's going home. You know, it's amazing what we do. And everybody dips into so many different facets of what Tad is all about. A major thing of what Tad is all about, we're going to touch on the family thing again. You guys took a little trip over to New Zealand not that long ago. Tell us how you actually first got together, and we'll show the clip in a minute.
Well, like she said, in Vegas, Apifab went and performed there. I think it was only your second shift that she was working in Vegas. It was right after she moved, and we met. And I asked her after the show if she wanted to hang out on the strip with me and Mike Rochaud, the drummer. And
hang out and what, Nick?
No, not hang out and strip. Hang out on the strip with me and Mike Rochaud, and she said no.
To be fair, though, he always tries to make me feel bad here, but it was my second shift, and I still had 4 hours, so I couldn't have been like, "Hey," to my brand new boss, "I'm leaving with the band. I'll see you tomorrow."
So you were trying to impress Terry before Nick, right?
And she had a boyfriend at the time.
Oh my God, that's a major agenda.
Yeah.
So, and she had a boyfriend. No, I missed that little one then.
Yeah, she had a boyfriend at the time. And so I got her Facebook and we just started talking. And a couple of weeks later, she didn't have a boyfriend. So I swooped in. We went to see Smash Mouth in Vegas for our first date. And
I have no idea what that is.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna know me. Don't you know that?
I still have no idea what
You need to get out more.
Yeah, I think I do. So what year was this? What year did you meet?
This was
2016.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So 2020. So that's what, 3.5 years, almost 4 years in. And then you decide to take an amazing trip to a place because you're both massive Hobbit fans, right? Lord of the Rings. Or is it just you, Julia? Super Lord of the Rings. And it was on your bucket list, right? To go and see this place?
Yeah, there were two things. New Zealand, just as a place, was on my bucket list. And then, of course, Hobbiton, being the big Lord of the Rings fan, I had to go. So those were two things on my bucket list.
So I was in Phoenix when Terry told you guys that you were going to take this trip. What was your reaction to this?
I cried. I was just so excited. I was in shock, honestly. I didn't believe Terry for a minute because he pulled up some pictures and he's like, "Yeah, so we're going to go here. Do you recognize this?" And it was kind of like landscape shots. And I was like, what is it? And then he pulled up Hobbiton and I was like, "Oh, yep, here we go." Cried.
The itinerary was incredible because I remember him booking it and putting it all together and, you know, so much care. I mean, the Davies, the parents, there's nobody like them for sorting things out. They are the most generous, giving, unbelievably beautiful people we know. So you get out to Hobbiton. You get out to New Zealand. Shall we just take a look at what happened when you got there?
We'll do a bit of a forced perspective shot. So if you want, Julie, you're going to stand roughly where Terry is. So Terry, if I get you to jump on this side, my man.
I can't jump anymore, but I know what you mean.
Walk on this. So Julie, you're going to come up a bit closer. And if you're going to stand by the mailbox here, like this. And maybe if you jump on that side for me, Julie, that'd be really gorgeous.
We bought you a little present, by the way, for the house. Do you want to? You need to open it first. Have a look inside. You have to show Julia as well.
Oh, that's cool.
You like it?
Can I show Julia?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's happening! Oh my god!
Julia.
This is it.
I practiced everything except what I was going to say right now. I was not half as good a person as I am now, and that's all because of you. You made me the best person I can possibly be, and I hope that you can say the same about me. So, will you marry me?
Oh, it's been a long time coming. There you go. Congratulations.
Somebody else wanted to say
You need to watch this.
congratulations.
Oh, just watch it on yours.
To us.
Well, hello, Julia. It is Sean Preston here, otherwise known as Samwise Gamgee of the Shire. You are off to a great adventure. I just want to wish you both, you and Nick, all the joy in the world and happiness.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how much I cried when I watched that video. Julia, did you have any idea he was going to pop the question?
No clue. He was sneaky because he, over the 3 months before or so, we kind of off and on would talk about little things like, oh, if we got married, we should do this, or like, oh, this song would be so cute in a wedding or whatever. But he would throw in these subtle little comments like, yeah, I just don't think I'm ready for that. I'm fine talking about it, but I'm not ready. And all these kinds of things, just, putting those little seeds out. So I had no idea because, and I was never in a rush or anything, but I wasn't expecting it.
Can you put into words, because it was so sneaky the way they did it, Terry passing him that box and just bought you a little gift, and obviously it was planned and rehearsed to a T and delivered to perfection. What went through your head? Can you put into words when he just opened that box?
I can't. There aren't words because like I said, I wasn't expecting it, and I think it took me a second to figure out what was actually happening. So it was just that, and I was already really overwhelmed, like in a great way, because of where we were. It was like the most important part of Hobbiton for me, and then with everything happening, and I definitely didn't expect Terry and Ann to be in on it. So it was just a lot at once, but in the best way.
Oh, it was a beautiful proposal. I mean, you guys are brilliant at rehearsing this stuff. How you come up with the ideas is incredible. So I'm going to ask Terry and Ann separately. Before I do that, I just want to say hello to Caroline Kavanagh. Her daughter, Sophie, was about to get married, and due to this virus that stopped the world in its tracks, the wedding's been cancelled, unfortunately. I'm sure it will go on at a later date. I just wanted to say a big hello to them, and we love the family very much. Mwah, to the Kavanagh.
Absolutely. I think we actually should, because they had to cancel that next weekend, we need to do some kind of video song for them so they can take it and use it at the wedding. So if we can't be there, we can be there virtually when they do get married.
Oh, that would be incredible. I mean, all of the family have been coming to see Linda and I in shows for a long, long time. And, and they've become friends. They're not just people who just turn up at a stage door and want an autograph. They're the most lovely people. And, they've been in touch for a long time since, and long may it continue. That's a lovely sentiment, Terry. So like I was saying before, I want to get back to the proposal. Now, Anne, I'll ask you first. What was it like watching the most precious person in your life deliver that question to his not yet fiancé?
Well, for me, it started weeks before when he told us he was going to pop the question, and I don't think I stopped crying the whole time. And then the night before he proposed, he brought the ring over to the room that we were staying in. We were staying in this gorgeous little hotel. So he brought the ring over, and he was going through the whole thing, panicking with Terry. No, you're not going to forget it, are you? Put it in your pocket and hide it. And this is the time to pull it out. And this is that. And so he was going through everything meticulously. And, my heart was just swelling. But then he told us both, come here, let's have a group hug. So we're in the hotel, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got to keep it together for tomorrow. So I'm literally just trying to ground myself, stop crying. So he said, okay, let's have a group hug. And as we were hugging, he said, I just want you to know that even though I'm getting married, and he said to me, you're still going to be one of the most important women in my life. And I was like, oh my God. So that kicked me off again. And I couldn't be happier to take second place to Julia, because she's just such an amazing person. She makes them so happy. And that's all any mother wants. I'm going to cry. Oh my God.
Oh, you got me going as well. It's going to be a love fest. But to be fair, I'll ask you in a second, to be fair, Julia, what a family to come into. Because there is no insincerity in any of this. This is not for show. You people are the most amazing people on the planet. You've been our closest friends for nigh on 30 years. And, through thick and through thin, we've been through everything. We know each other inside out. They're the most amazing people, aren't they?
And you too.
Aren't they, Julia?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was cutting in and out.
Julia, your script's underneath. Just read it.
Yes, they're really nice.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I couldn't be more grateful. And it's amazing that Anne and I and Terry and I have such a great relationship, because, you know, I've got nightmare stories of friends who just can't get along with their parents-in-law. They're both friends as well as family, and it's really important, and I'm really happy that we have that. And same with Nick and my parents. You know, we all get along.
We all get along. Well, as Terry's been mid-weep, I think we'll ask him the same question. So, Terry, you know the anticipation of what's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. You're part of the rehearsal. You're handed in the box. What's going through your mind, buddy?
Well, it's just one of the moments in your life where, if you're lucky enough, you can count them on two hands when you die. That's most important. And while it would have been important just because it was Nick, that would have been good enough. But because it's Julia, she's perfect for us. She's perfect for our family. The perfect fit. Yeah, just that.
Oh, it's great to
She's
see.
great.
It really is. This is so lovely. I've got to say this as well. And this is your sister-in-law, Melanie. She said, Sam, you could at least have told everybody that the Kavanaghs were going to get the dress from her shop. She said you had one job. Thanks,
they have a job.
Oh, she said, I had one job. But it was beautiful, Nick. You know, you put it on Facebook because, you know, you guys, you show your life and you show everybody, but there's so many private moments. But that, I think, is the most amazing moment to share with the world. It was a beautiful trip. So when you got home, was the buzz still there? How was everything? Or was you just straight back to work as normal?
I mean, we didn't. It's weird. I mean, you all know because you all went through the whole marriage proposal thing, but it's crazy how much life seems different after that, you know, in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you wake up from a dream and you think, did that really happen? Is this real?
Wait till you have kids, buddy. Wait till you have kids. It's a whole different life.
Yeah.
Next, is there any plans? Any plans in the future? I mean, obviously not next week.
This would be a great time to make the announcement.
It's a dog. No. Right now, Julia and I, what is the best way to say this? Could not be more against the idea of having children.
So just practicing at the moment.
Yeah, we're just
Just all about showbiz, got performance rights. Got to get the performance rights. All about that delivery.
So don't condone this behavior, Sam. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Back now, Tez, more to Tad and the whole creation of that. You've come through Sky. You've gone through the whole, you know, the crash, the whole country's hit rock bottom. Where are you now? You started to put this together and mooted it before about, you know, having some contacts and things. Tell us about your journey through this.
Through Tad now? Or
through Tad at the beginning, you know, and a bridge right the way to where we are now.
Like Anne said, when we came out of Sky, Sky was amazing and dreadful all at the same time. You know, if Sky hadn't happened, Tad would not exist, because any business skills that I have, they mostly came from there and the experience and some of the advice I got. But when we came out, I remember just sitting in Starbucks and we were looking at each other, both in our early 50s, and going, what the hell are we going to do now? We literally came out with nothing, so on, so what should we do? And we had these tribute shows and we're working. And I don't want to say I had an epiphany, because I didn't. I just said, look, it's going to knuckle down and work. And I surrounded myself. The best thing I've done in business, and I mean this, is surround myself with the poster I have behind me at work, surrounding myself with people that are on the same mission as me. You have to have that. And it started with Scotty Pearson, who was and is my right-hand man, and bleeds Tad. And it goes on. It goes Jan, Beth, and you, and it goes to the whole team, and then Cindy, and Drew, and Chris, and Jesse, and it just Brent, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And now I'm going to have to try to remember everybody. Christian, There's so many people. And Tad wouldn't be Tad without them. Yeah, I just guide the ship. Imagine it's a cruise ship. And if you've got a cruise ship with 6,000 passengers, there's a guy at the front, the captain, who's kind of walking around looking good, and he's making some decisions here and there, but he's relying on all those people and all his crew, and they're doing the job. That's Tad.
It is, yeah. But you did some things to keep yourself afloat through the beginning times of that as well, didn't you? Do you want to talk about that at all?
At the beginning of Tad?
Yeah, the very beginning, after Sky had finished, where do we go? What do we do? And you just pick up and you just do what needs to be done.
Are you talking about when I was in Chippendales for that 6-month run? Is that the one you mean?
No, you've never made furniture.
Oh. So are you talking about pizza?
I am. That's exactly what I'm alluding to.
Well, I mean, it's simply a case of do what you've got to do. We're going through this time right now. The situation's different, but nothing else is different. We still get up in the morning, we go to bed at night, and we spend time, hopefully, with the people we love. So if that means that today you go on a cruise ship and sing, or tomorrow you go and deliver pizza, you're still waking up and going to bed and surrounded by the same. So when we came out of Sky, I delivered pizza for 3 months, and that's what you do. And if we have to do that next week, that's what you do. There's no shame in it. It's just working hard, and I actually had a ball delivering pizza.
You get to eat pizza, right?
A lot of it.
You only did it for 3 months because the pizza showed up half gone.
Half a pizza's here. But it is a testament to you and to Anne and Nick. Your work ethic, your life ethic is, for me, second to none. Everybody says this, and we're back to the Love Fest. You are inspirational. The way you guide that cruise ship, what you do and how you get everybody going. And sometimes in business, and a lot of times in business, you make decisions that other people wouldn't make. You're making the tough calls. You're having the tough discussions, and that's testament to you and the team you've built around you, because we all take your lead, and you're brilliant at it, Terry.
Thank you.
And I don't say it lightly. You're an inspiration. And you too, and I mean, it's like everything. They talk about the NHS. There's every role doing everybody's part, and Tad is a part of that. Where do you see this going, Terry? How do you see this playing out?
The current situation?
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like 9/11. 9/11 was an event, a big event. But it was, in my opinion, it was an event that, for the most part, impacted the United States of America. It was massive here, the biggest event I've ever witnessed. And everybody else in the world kind of looking in. This is different. This is a global pandemic. It's changed the world. We've never seen anything like this. When 9/11 happened, a couple of years later, everything changed. We don't fly the same way. We don't travel the same way as we used to. And we're all okay with that. We're all okay. We get pissed off when we're in security at Heathrow because it takes 2 hours, but we're safe. Yeah. We can't go to the gate to greet our loved ones, but we're safe. We pay a little bit more so we can pay for it, but we're safe. And so we travel. People are traveling more now than they ever did pre 9/11. So the same's going to happen with us. It will be different. Things will be different. The cruise industry is, in my opinion, is going to be bigger and better than it ever was before. We'll pay more attention to sanitization, which I believe they're already clean. That's a whole other subject. And I think we'll be going on ships in a different way, maybe with some medicals and temperature checks to make sure everybody's healthy. But the cruise industry is going to come back, and it'll come back bigger and better and stronger than ever. And I can't wait for it, to be honest. I'm excited as heck about it. So just get through this. Yeah.
Here's to that. So I'm going to throw a few light-hearted questions, because I know that's what we do here at Tad Talk. So I'm going to throw this to all of you. Terry, you actually sent this to me before, because you said this is a great question. I'm a big, big fan of the Actor Studio, and this is one of the questions that they ask on that. So I'll ask you individually, and starting with you, working down to Julie and Nick, then Terry. What turns you on and what turns you off?
Okay.
I've just read Terry's mind.
And I'm not going there. So I think really, for a simple answer, kindness turns me on. And bullies turn me off.
Oh, good answer. Julia?
Humor turns me on. It's a great thing. You know, I love seeing people laugh.
So here's that question again. Why are you with Nick?
And I'd say
job security.
Terrible. And I'd say ego turns me off.
Yeah.
When it's in a negative way, you know, when somebody's full of themselves and.
Yeah. So again, the same question: why are you? Nick, what turns you on? What turns you off?
I think genuine. Some people being genuine. You know,
sincerity.
Yeah, sincerity, definitely. That turns me on. And what turns me off? I'm going to go with Julia with this. My ego. I hate it. Can't stand it.
Great answer.
There's a difference between confidence and ego. Very fine line.
Very fine line. Terence?
You know, it's good being on this side of the fence, and also difficult. I got to interrupt here. A great friend of Anna and ours from back then has just posted, and we haven't seen him for years. And I would love to chat with you, Sean McMenemy. Sean just came
Sean.
But two great people, Terry and
great memories.
Hey, Sean, where's your ball? Only Sean will get that.
I'm guessing you didn't have a ball. It was Sean's ball.
Oh, it's a long story, but a fun one.
What turns me on? I'll tell you what turns me on. Spending time with the people you love. That turns me on. I've got a very small amount of people in my life that I really love. Family, friends, but close, that I simply want to spend time with them. It's you and Linda, Steve and Mel, and Ray, my cousin. That's it. And there's lots of other people that I do love, but when I spend time with those people, it means everything in the world to me. What turns me off? Entitlement, in the biggest way. Entitlement, when people believe that they should be getting more for something for doing nothing.
Yeah,
that's what turns me on.
Great answers, Davies family. Well done, you're doing well. Got lots of fans here. So here's one for the couples, right? There's going to create a little bit of contention, this. So this is about the other person. Terry, I'm going to start with you.
God.
Oh, God.
What's your other half's most annoying habit?
Oh, God, that's easy.
Your sex life depends on this, so answer carefully.
Well, it doesn't matter what you answer because that's been dead for years. So anyway.
That's true.
Okay. Here's... You go in...
Take your time on this.
It's not going to be good.
He's really choosing his words.
You go in the bathroom and we have two sinks, okay? Two areas, not just two sinks together, like two areas. And Anne's area has got 3 hair dryers, 17 foundations, piles and piles, very neat and tidy, but piles and mountains of stuff. And the cupboards are full. And on mine, there's a razor and a toothbrush. And she comes storming in and said, "You left the toilet seat up." And that's true. She's always walking into the toilet with me as well. Where's the dishwasher? You know where the dishwasher is? Dishwasher's there. Find your way there. Okay, yeah, that.
Still hasn't found it.
Terry, this is not therapy, mate. It's just a simple question. Julia.
Well, Nick's habit is that he likes to just leave things around, whether it's clothes, he just drops it and leaves it. Sunny D bottles from the past week, he just leaves it on the table.
To be fair though, Julia, you've just described every man.
Yeah.
So that's it, Nick. You leave stuff around. Nick, I'm going to leave you to last. Anne, what's Terry's worst habit that drives you insane?
Oh my God, how long have we got?
Well, yeah, actually, we're just under an hour. My goodness me.
Okay, so he leaves a trail of dirty socks behind him. I don't know where the trail leads. It leads in different directions. I don't know if he can't find his way around the house. I have no idea why he does it. No matter how much I nag, it's still always there. I've even tried putting it in his suit pockets when he goes to work. They are safe. I put it in his suit pocket. He dragged his pen out at a meeting to do something, and he dragged 4 socks out first. And you would think that would have been the lesson learned, but no, he still does it.
I can vouch for that. We have found his socks on the back, and he sits there and picks his toes, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's my worst habit.
He does it in the office as well. Cindy told me he does it in the office too. We have no shame.
Oh, he doesn't have any shame. He doesn't care.
He doesn't.
In his socks. Nick, what about Julia? I can't imagine Julia having any bad habits, to be fair.
Not picking up the stuff I leave around. No.
You just can't get the staff, can you?
I would say okay, I'm gonna paint a scenario here. Hey, Julia, let's watch Back to the Future. No, let's not do. Let's watch Lord of the Rings. You sure? Yeah, let's. I think Lord of the Rings is why I want to watch that. Oh, okay, cool. Start Lord of the Rings. 10 minutes later.
Oh, Linda does that. Linda does that. Like Terry's pizza delivery. They only ever get half. So, a quick question for you, Nick. Again, I'm going to come back round. Who would win in a wrestling match between you and Julia?
Julia.
Why is that?
She used to be a wrestler in school in Canada. Honestly,
you're a bit of a dark horse, Julia. Apparently, you used to play off scratch as well, golf.
Yeah, I golf, and not as much as I used to, but yeah, I've always been into golf. And
how bad would that be, Terry? You go and doing a round of golf with Julia, you and I turn up playing off 24, and she's like whipping us.
Yeah, but it's not just that. In the middle of it, you could ask her to go move a bunch of boxes because she drives a forklift as well.
Terry, you have got the most amazing daughter. Nick, you've fallen right on your feet, mate. Yeah, right on your feet. Useless, married, amazing. Anne, you know the same. Okay, Anne, what about you two? Who'd win in a wrestling match?
Oh, definitely me with one arm and one leg tied behind my back.
You having that, Terry?
If it was sumo wrestling, she wouldn't stand a chance.
Well, at least you know where you stopped, wouldn't she? Okay, very simple. Something people may not know about you, Anne.
Oh, God. I already asked. Well, I answered it already kind of before, because a lot of people don't know that I couldn't have kids and had a test tube baby. And I can't come up with anything as quick. So I'll have to go with that again.
We did rehearse this, though, but don't worry about that. Julia?
Well, I mean, like Terry said, I have a few random qualifications that I don't use on a daily basis. But yeah, I have my forklift license. I've got 3 levels of height, so I can drive lifts. I can legally use a ladder over 10 feet. I've got a propane handling license, an electrical certification. So those are kind of random things that I've picked up.
A walking mystery. This is amazing.
She plays bassoon.
Play bassoon, yeah.
Of course she does. Of course she does. Deep sea dive and get the ink out of squids as well, really. What can't you do, for goodness sake? Nick, seriously. So tell us, what about you, Nick? What random fact people wouldn't know?
Well, you guys know I'm kind of an open book. I really don't, there's not many things that people don't know about me. I guess like I really, really want to write a musical. That's probably one thing that I've kept kind of under wraps, and I've started a little bit with Christian. We've come up with a few ideas and stuff like that, but that's one of my biggest things. I really want to write a full musical.
I look forward to that. If we can stay on a little longer, Terry, I'd like to touch on that in a second. But what about you, Terry? What do people not know about you?
2 things. Most people would be surprised to hear that I'm a massive Manchester United fan.
Are you? I didn't know. That.
But the other thing is really about Anne and I. We lost a child back in 1985. So she would have been 35 now. And although we're absolutely perfectly 100% happy with the way things turned out with Nick, you can occasionally never look back and go, wow, 35? So that.
Wow, that's touching, man.
Yeah, but no regrets, nothing negative, just that thing that happened. And obviously, life goes on, and you end up with the opportunities you got, and thank God we got Nick.
Thank God indeed. Thank God indeed. Okay, last quick-fire question. Terry, we'll start with you. What personality trait gets you into the most trouble? I think we're back to the socks, right, Anne?
No. I guess I'm going to have to admit this one. It's, as Anne would say, he can't hold his own water. So I'm very good at organizing surprises, but I have a real hard time at not telling someone. So I like to diarrhea of the mouth sometimes, yeah.
And what about you? What personality trait gets you into trouble?
Probably resting bitch face, because I've got it all the time. People, they always think I'm pissed off with them for some reason, but it's just the way I look right now. So it's probably that.
So that's your face all the time, pretty much, isn't it? I hate you.
Yeah, resting bitch face. Yeah.
I have an I hate you resting face as well. It's not good, is it?
Yeah, even if I love you.
It might just be a Liverpool thing. I don't know.
Hey, Sam, sorry, mate. I got Melanie Riley has made a comment here. She disagrees with my personality trait. She says my worst personality trait is picking his feet, then putting his hands in the popcorn.
That's definitely true, and he's done that before.
Especially everybody else's popcorn as well. And then he picks his teeth. It's just Julia?
I have a very low tolerance for stupidity. It will set me from 0 to 100. I'm sure Nick can tell you that, but sometimes that is
I reiterate my previous point. Why on earth are you with Nick, what about you? What's your personality trait that annoys people?
Using sarcasm as a defense mechanism.
Yeah, we've all been guilty of that once or twice, haven't we?
Right.
Yeah, be in a lot of trouble.
So, Nick, you touched upon writing musicals. I know recently this has been a massive impact certainly on the showbiz industry. Massive impact, as well as hitting everybody else, because it's touched everybody in some way or other. But it inspired you to write a song. And it was funny because I was chatting to your dad about this today. I said, you were born to write a musical because you're a born lyricist, you're a born poet, the way you put an arrangement together and compile a song to turn it into an emotive experience for someone so young is amazing. And we've got a great example of just that. Thank you, Ross.
After all, what if this virus had affected Mr. Lennon? Imagine if imagine never was. Thank God he taught the world a bit of peace with that piano. We never would have listened just because. To take away the arts would be to take away our purpose. For some of us, it's why we're still alive. The future of our business is how poorly we are floating, and now they'll be too scared to take the dive. A month ago, not one of us could ever see this ending, and now we've no idea where to start. But we have an obligation to this planet we call home. 'Cause what is Earth without art? We have an obligation to this planet we call home. 'Cause what is Earth without
Brilliant, Nick. Absolutely brilliant. Before we congratulate you further, I just want to say a big thank you to Ross Caligiuri for doing all the production stuff, all these pop-ups, all these videos you see on your camera, on your video screen. It's all to do with Ross. Great job, sir. Nick, Nick, some of the words in there, there's a line that just absolutely sticks out. Imagine if imagine never was, about John Lennon, about the inspiration that we get from music, from lyrics, from art.
Yeah.
Tell us about the writing of this, mate.
Well, this song was kind of a quick thing for me, because obviously I didn't have any idea or plans of writing this song before this whole quarantine thing happened, you know. So this song was from the inception to the finished recording probably a week and a half. And sometimes you need to search for inspiration to write lyrics. And usually I write the tune before I write the lyrics, but this one was backwards. You know, the lyrics just came so naturally just because it's so fresh in the mind, and something that I feel really close to my heart, you know. And it's funny, imagine if imagine never was the last lyric I wrote. I skipped forward to the end, and that was a space where I needed something and I didn't know what it was, and I went back and I thought of it and I threw it in. So that was like the very last cherry on top for that song. But I think it kind of ties the song together, and just that line alone you can just say that line to someone and they'll know what the entire song is about. So,
it's beautiful. It's an incredible line, mate. It's like,
hey, what, Sam? What I really love about that verse is, and this is what I think is Nick's brilliance as a lyricist, and he knows I feel that, is that imagine if imagine never was is amazing. But to me, what is the X factor in his lyrics is the line that rhymes with that. Because he wrote, "We never would have listened just because." And that could have been any line that was a throwaway line, because imagine, but we never would have listened just because just brings it all home to you. Because we would not have listened. Amazing.
It's an incredible song. And there's the synergy with that, Nick. Apparently John Lennon wrote Imagine literally in 10 or 15 minutes. You know, they just reeled it off, same as you, and there you go, using his line. It's an inspirational song. I'll be playing it on my show tomorrow morning when I'm on the radio as well, Nick, so looking forward to playing that. So there's a great question that Terry asks every one of his guests every time he does one of these amazing TAD Talks. I cannot believe we've been going an hour and 12 minutes now, by the way. This has gone so fast. I love this question, and it gets everybody thinking. And the crazy thing about it is, after being asked the question, I had so many different answers. Because there's so many, I don't know if you'd answer the same twice, depending on which mood you are. It's almost like asking, what's your favourite song? But anyway, the question is, and I'm going to ask Julia this first. You can choose two people, dead or alive, that you'd like to spend the next hour with. Who would they be, and where would you spend that hour, and what would you talk about?
Well, hands down, this is actually what I answered the first time Terry said it to me. My dad's mom, my grandma, who recently passed away, and my mom's dad, who also passed away a couple of years ago. And it would be at the Stanley Hotel, just to show them where the wedding's going to be, let them meet Nick, you know. Yeah. Just talk to them about it.
There will not be a dry eye on this screen by the time this finishes. Nick, what about you, buddy?
Well, I answered this on another TAD Talk, so I'm going to pick a different one. And I'm going to kind of break the rules with it a little bit. I would be on a stage with a piano with younger me and older me.
Oh, wow.
And I would give my younger self some advice, and I would just talk to my older self and just see if there's, you know, joy and happiness and hope in his voice.
Wow. Well, I think we can see that there's plenty of hope. It's always been there. Julia, Linda Wolf has just put tears, Julia.
No.
Terry, what about you, buddy?
My granddad and Nick. My granddad gave me so many amazing lessons. He was a simple man. And he once told me, when we were talking about going out and working, he says, don't ever go out and try and earn £1 million. Just earn £1 and do it 1,000,000 times. And what he really meant was just work hard. And but he bought me my first piano for when I was 5. And to have them two in a room would be amazing.
Wow, beautiful, man.
I'd love him to see Nick.
Bless you, man. God bless you, and bless your granddad. Anne, what about you?
Without a doubt, my mum and dad, who are no longer with us, and have left such a major void in my life that I could never have possibly imagined just how hard it would be.
Yeah.
And it would be in Hawaii, because it was always a bucket list for my mum. She always would love to have gone to Hawaii, and it was in the pipeline because she died just before their 50th wedding anniversary. And we were going to take her and my dad to Hawaii for the wedding anniversary, and she died just before that. So to sit on the beach, have my dad snorkeling, because he loved all the wildlife and the fish and all that. See my dad snorkeling out in the ocean, sit on the beach drinking a Mai Tai with my mom is just, if I could give anything in the world to have that, I would do it right now. Yep.
Brilliant. Beautiful people as well. Well, Terry's parents, you know, and all apart from Julia's, you know, grandparents, I've met all of those people. Maybe not your granddad, Terry, as well, you know. I've met the younger Nick. I've met the older Nick. I know both of your parents, and it's gorgeous getting to know all your families. Guys, this has been, again, I use this word, and I don't use it lightly. It's been inspirational talking to you. Every day is an inspiration with you guys. You're the most amazing people in the world. Thank you for taking the time to bare your souls to everybody that's part of TAD and everybody that's joined in today. It's been an honour sitting here in the hot seat, in Terry's hot seat, having a chat with you and learning more about you and giving more of your soul to everybody out there that's watching. Again, thanks to everybody that's watching. Have you enjoyed it?
Been a blast.
It's been fun. I love you.
Yeah, we love you too.
I love you too. I love you all so much. And the crazy thing is, we haven't even scratched the surface, have we?
I know.
I haven't even scratched the surface. So much. I think knowing your history, Terry, this was a great idea giving it to me, because it could have gone so many ways. We knew there was going to be tears. We knew there was going to be laughter. Didn't quite know there was going to be this many tears, but hey,
yeah, right.
Nick, Julie, you've got an amazing future. Both together and artistically, you're incredible people. Terry and Anne, you know exactly who you are. You're going all the way. You're going to bring this back, Terry, steer the ship back to safe waters. And Anne, you'll be there right behind him. Behind every great man is an amazing woman, and you're just that. And I just want to say to everybody out there, sorry.
One last thing that people may not know about me is Sam is my best man in our wedding.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Compare Kenny.
Collecting the information to just make your life a misery on that day is going to be my... It's going to be great. There'll be tears and laughter then as well. This is tough times, everybody out there. It's a crazy time right in the world, wherever you go. All I can do, personally, those people out there that know me or know anything about me, both my wife and myself went through this. We did get to a place where we thought we may not come back, and I don't say that lightly. It was not a good place. Terry reminded me of that yesterday when he was talking to Linda, and I think that episode's out tonight, right, Terry?
Comes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, yeah, tune into all of those. Keep watching this TAD Talk. Stay safe. Stay inside. I cannot tell you this is not the flu. It absolutely isn't the flu. It nearly killed us, and it's killing people we know, literally. People are in intensive care that we know right now. Very close people to us are in terrible, terrible dilemmas. We have no idea whether they're going to turn back. So stay safe, stay at home, help the people who are trying to help us, and it would mean the world. Thank you so much. Thanks again, Ross. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Julie. And thank you, Anne. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Happy Easter, guys.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Let us know.
Okay. So, we've just done over an hour with the amazing Davies family. And I did say it was going to be a bit of a bumpy road. There was a bit I've forgotten, and I do hold my hands up. I am sorry. But it's Where in the World is Terry? Can we have the music, please, Ross?
Where in the world is Terry?
Where in the world is Terry?
Well, as you heard in the title tune there, Where in the World is Terry? We can see where Terry is. He's on a beautiful beach somewhere in some exotic land. But this is not about where Terry is. This is about where Sam is. And I have the first option for Anne. Where in the world is Sam?
Some footy game somewhere.
Need your glasses on. Just try and look at the colours of some of the football shirts in the crowd.
Oh, there's a lot of blue there.
Goodison Park.
Come on.
Oh, God. I hate that I had to
we have an affinity, Terry and I. We both hate Liverpool.
No.
That's why we get on so well. As soon as you met me, when you're Evertonian, that's it. We're lifelong friends. And that's it. That's all it's based on. There's nothing else. Nick, where in the world is Sam?
I love it.
That is Baskin Robbins.
Carol Baskin. Carol, that bitch, Carol Baskin.
Oh, Carol.
Do you know the crazy thing? If it were not for coronavirus, I don't think this would have ever seen the light of day.
No.
It's become so famous because everybody's self-isolated.
Wouldn't have seen the light of day like Carol's husband.
She did it.
She had to have done.
What's he eating? That's the question. Okay, Terry, I know, Nick, you're going to know the answer to this. Terry, let's see if you know. Where in the world is Sam?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not Blackpool.
Hold on a minute. Da, da, da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
So where is it? Where is it? Tell me where it is.
It's in California. It's where the George McFly family lived.
Spot on, sir.
Is that right?
Done.
Here.
Congratulations. You won.
What year? 1985.
Yes. What is the exact address?
The address is I don't know.
What kind of wallpaper have they got in their front room?
Shining.
That's a different movie. Thank you, guys. You take care of yourselves. That's the outtakes. Ta-da.